Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Draw with T. So we are done with the Christmas stuff. It is likely late December or early January. I'm actually not too sure when this one's going out. Sorry about that. But we are done with the holidays. So if you didn't like all that holiday stuff, we're moving on from it. And if you did, well, sorry, but the season's got to end at some point. So here I'm basically just doing some sketches of the main character of my story, Casimir, or rather one of them, and that would be Tristan. She's like kind of the main protagonist, or one of two. It is kind of like an adventure love story. So there's her, and then there's Princess Yzette, and they're kind of the main characters. And basically, I realized I hadn't really drawn humans, or rather humans in my style, for a very long time. And I kind of knew that meant that I probably should draw some of my characters, because if I don't, then very quickly when I do go to draw them, it's frustrating, and I've kind of forgotten how to draw certain aspects. Like in this case, I really struggle with this face here. It just takes forever, and I don't like it by the end of it. And that just kind of happens, honestly. Sometimes you just have to, get the crap out. You just have to, you're going to draw bad, and you're going to draw stiff, and you're going to spend too long on it, but you just got to do it because, by the end of it, either by the end of the page or the end of 3 pages or whatever it takes, you're going to be drawing really good again. But you just got to kind of warm up, blow the dust off of it and get back to it. So the second face is a little too cartoony, and that's kind of just a result of swinging from the one on the left, which I felt was too stiff, to, something a bit too much. Not intentionally, but again, I just haven't drawn any humans in my style for so long that I'm trying to remember how I did it. Maybe not everybody has that problems, but I've always had problems with faces, human faces. And after a lot of hard work, I was able to reach a point where I was pretty okay with how my faces were turning out, and my expressions were pretty good. People think I'm really good at it, which is ironic, because I think it's so hard, and I'm not really good at it. But, put in time and practice, and you get better. But, that's often the first thing that gets really hard for me to draw, is the faces. So, I'm just kind of drawing Tristan, just kind of warming up. I plan on doing some more character art of all my various characters. Part of that is because I've got these documents. I basically have like a tiny little document for each character, and that's just where I keep little notes that I don't want to forget, like, oh, their eyes are green, or this thing happens in their backstory, or remember to write this thing in this scene because that's their little side plot. But when I really need to grab that character's little document, I can't find it because I've got like 30 or 40 documents with various different things, and it's hard to just look at the little thumbnail title and know what the heck I'm looking for. And I've noticed that the documents that do have pictures in them, are obviously a lot easier to spot and grab. So I decided, why don't I just do some quick little portraits of all the characters, even though that their looks are probably going to change heavily when I actually sit down to properly develop them. I just kind of want a little image, and I can be like, oh, well, that's a very badly drawn, version of this character, but hey, at least now I know what I'm looking for when I need to grab the documents and stuff. So I don't like any of those Tristan heads I've drawn so far, and I, did a little Tristan versus Yzette little doodle there just to remind me of the shapes I use for Tristan. Sometimes if I quickly draw those two characters, then it kind of differentiates in my head. Like the more soft circles I do for Yzette, and the more angular ovals and triangles I use on Tristan. And yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta do weird things to jumpstart your art, jumpstart how you draw things. I know some people have these like weird warm-up routines. Some people will literally draw like 15 pages of just circles. Some people do anatomy, which is, not that strange. Sometimes when I'm drawing different characters, I literally have to do this sort of mathematical or very rough mechanical little crappy doodles, just like, over-exaggerated ovals and over-exaggerated circles, just to remind myself, okay, this character looks like this, less exaggerated, and this character looks like this, less exaggerated, but I've drawn them exaggerated, so I, memorize and I don't mix them up, because I kind of suffer from same face syndrome, and I'm trying to cure it, but drawing faces in of itself is hard, so trying to draw different faces is harder. I think, is this the face that's not as bad? It might be. But, yeah, so basically I was just, before I started drawing random characters, well, not random characters, but characters that I've actually never drawn and maybe never really thought of how they looked, I thought that would be a bad place to start, especially if I was struggling with faces. I thought, you know what, let's open up and practice with, like, Tristan and Yazette and Humphrey and these characters that I've known and drawn a lot of times before, kind of calibrate myself, and, once I'm drawing them pretty decently, then I know I can move on and just kind of invent some quick faces for these other characters as little placeholders, so I can use them in my documents. Oh, and you guys might be wondering why the heck I've got a massive sticker at the top of my page that has my name on it and some other doodles. So I kind of took a little bit of a break from doing these episodes. I just kind of I didn't really have much time to be drawing, so I had to do some other stuff, and I needed to do and figure out some graphic design, very, very boring graphic design plans and things. So I had to use my sketchbook for that. But since I'm not filming it, I'm not gonna to force out a full page when 3 little doodles would do. So I just kind of went over into this page a bit with some graphic design stuff, and I like to stick things in my sketchbook to remind me of things and places that I went to that I might not remember going forward in life. My sketchbooks are kind of a little bit like a journal, so that sticker I forgot that I had it on, but I basically went to a friend's kind of Christmas party, and we had little, hi, I'm so-and-so, just to break the ice and stuff, and I'm like, you know what, let me plop that in here, because it's been very, very busy couple months, and I haven't really gotten out much and haven't really seen anybody, so I just want to remind myself, hey, you did go out and have fun this Christmas time, so remember that. And I am currently drawing the best thing on this page, I think. I really love this little weird angry-eyed Tristan. And I believe that's basically the last thing on this page, and we're going to be moving on to page 2. And I know in the past I kind of had this thing where I basically only wanted to film 1 page per video or 2 pages per video. Basically, I wanted to complete the entire page for the video, and this is kind of that moment where I kind of break that, because I'm going to sketch something here that takes a lot of time and looks pretty cool, and I had no need to sketch anything further for Tristan, and I didn't really have time, so I, had to go do other stuff in my life. And I think going forward, we might see a bit more of that, so I hope you guys don't mind seeing, like, revisiting this page or seeing other pages, whether they're related or unrelated, as I kind of continue to sketch ideas in my sketchbook. This is kind of more natural to the way I do it, and yeah, especially if I do post longer but less episodes in a week, more complete episodes where I take, do the entire project start to finish in an episode. We might see a lot more of this. Also, sorry that I didn't zoom in for this one. I debated about doing that, but because that would mean a loss of quality, I decided to just leave it at the 1080p. Let me know if you guys would prefer that I zoom in, like if you'd prefer to see the whole drawing take up the full page at a loss of quality, because it basically means viewing it at like 720 or possibly even less, possibly like 540 resolution. Yeah, I don't have 4K capabilities, at least not when I'm recording with my webcam. I can actually do 4K screen recording, but I don't have a 4K intro, so I don't know what to do about that. Do I blow up my intro and make it look terrible? Or do I do no intro? I don't quite have time right now to shoot a new intro, and I don't know what I do, because it'd have to all be screen recorded on my laptop, so it'd have to be like purely done in Photoshop, whatever it is. If you guys have any ideas or any input, let me know. And basically here I'm just sketching kind of a finished Tristan. I'm not fully happy with it, but I knew I could fix it up in Photoshop, and the plan for all these character portraits I plan on doing is basically to kind of do just, one little sketch and then fix it up a bit in Photoshop, ink it, throw a bit of color on, and then, plop it in the file and move on. So I didn't want to get too caught up in this. I didn't want to spend hours and hours and hours perfecting everything. So basically, yeah, I didn't even plan on doing the shoulders and stuff. But I ended up doing them anyways, and sometimes that happens. Especially with my armored characters, I can't resist drawing their armor just a little bit. But unfortunately here, things kind of ended up a little bit wonky in proportion. But I fixed that up in Photoshop, which will be the next episode. So if you want to see me take this to finish, tune in for episode 51, where I'll be doing that. And you'll see how I transform this sketch into basically a finished digital piece. But yeah, as I'm watching myself draw this, I can tell instantly that I'm kind of picking at things that normally take me no time to do. Like, usually I can draw Tristan's hair in my sleep, as it were. I mean, obviously it wouldn't turn out very well, but usually I don't struggle this much with her hair. It's kind of something I've drawn over so many times that, I can do it by rote. And the fact her eyes are a little off here, and they're kind of off for the entire process of it, which I'm not happy about. But, that's just how it goes, honestly. When you don't do something for a while, you gotta clean out the sludge from the pipes. And I would rather be doing it with a character I've got a bunch of art of, and I actually know how to properly draw her, than with a random character that would make me think that maybe, I just hate the look, when actually I just hate how it's drawn. And this is actually a rare piece of art where I put a rose in Tristan's mouth. She's not that debonair in the story. She's actually kind of the opposite. She's a bit clumsy. Well, maybe not clumsy, but, just not that debonair. But there's an original kind of version of Tristan predating all of this, where I kind of drew her with a rose, because she was kind of the iconic knight in shining armor. So, drawing an image of a knight holding a rose, kind of portrays a lot, especially to people that aren't very interested in the story, or where you can't really portray much of the story or talk much about the story. Just having a knight with a rose, says a lot. I stuck it in her mouth because I don't know why. It just seemed kind of funny. I think it's extra funny to me knowing that the character isn't entirely like that. Perhaps this is like an idealized version of how Yazette would see her. But yeah, so here the color is unnecessary, but I just felt like coloring it in. It was a nice piece, kind of like the end cap of my sketching, and I hadn't really drawn a lot of nice stuff. So yeah, just kind of filling it in for my own pleasure, as it were. Those eyes are bothering me incredibly. I do fix them up a little bit in Photoshop. Yeah, just coloring the rose. That's basically it, guys. So like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next episode. Tune in if you want to see me finish this.